Everybody knows the nursery rhyme Satchan, but do you know what the lyrics in the second and third verses really mean? The second verse states, "Satchan loves bananas, but she can only eat half of one. How sad." The third verse states, "Satchan went far away. I'm sad." Why can she only eat half a banana? Why did she go far away? Aren't these lyrics strange and a little suspicious? In reality, this song was dedicated to a girl named Sachiko. This Satchan was eating a banana as she was walking one day, and then she suddenly got hit by a car and died. That's why the lyrics say, "She can only eat half of one, how sad." And it's why she went far away. Now, if you have read this far, I have a warning for you. Satchan is a very lonely girl, and when someone learns the true meaning of her song, she appears by their bedside at night to become their friend and take them away to the other side. However, if you prepare a picture of Satchan's beloved bananas and put that underneath your pillow, you will be okay. Satchan will be distracted by the picture and leave you alone. However, if you fail to prepare the picture, then tonight she will... Hello and welcome to Toshiden, exploring Japanese urban legends. Kept you waiting, huh? I'm your host, Tara A. Devlin, and on this show we'll be looking at different urban legends from Japan, how they came about, and, when possible, the truth behind them. It's been a while, but we have another jam-packed season for you with all sorts of horrifying, bizarre, and creepy legends to dig into. Once again, this season will be 10 episodes long, and in addition to that, Toshiden Exploring Japanese Urban Legends Volume 4, the book, is also out now. So, if these 10 urban legends aren't enough for you, you can get even more there, and help support the show at the same time. So, to kick this season off, we're looking at an interesting legend that is a little bit of a mix between creepy nursery rhyme and lady who will kill you in your sleep. Because who doesn't love those? Satchan is a popular nursery rhyme in Japan that was written by Sakata Hiro in 1959 and composed by his cousin, Onaka Megumi, and it was Onaka who actually asked him to write the lyrics for her. According to Sakata himself, the song was written about a young girl from his kindergarten class, Kikuta Sachiko. She was his first crush, but she moved away. Being a children's song, it's not very long or complicated, and goes as follows. Satchan. She's actually called Sachiko, but she's small, so she calls herself Satchan. How funny, Satchan. Satchan. She loves bananas, it's true, but she's small, so she can only eat half. How sad, Satchan. Satchan. Is she really going far away? But she's small, so she'll no doubt forget about me. I'm sad, Satchan. Due to the nature of the lyrics, various urban legends and scary explanations have popped up over the years. The most common, as can be found in the legend earlier, is that Satchan actually died, hence going far away. And to make the banana verse fit in, she was eating a banana when she died, hence she can't finish the rest. But where does the truth lie? Well, according to Sakata himself, she really did just move away. They were just kids, so he thought she would quickly forget about him. But because she was his first crush, he didn't forget about her. That's why he ended up writing the song. As for the banana, well, that part actually relates to Sakata himself. Although the nursery rhyme claims that Satchan is small, and that's why she can't eat a whole banana, in reality, it was Sakata who could not finish an entire banana as a kid. He was sickly, and when he tried to eat more, his body refused. And so he included his own personal experience in the song. It was nothing more than that. As an interesting side note, however, Sakata apparently first told his cousin that Sachan was actually a chimpanzee at Tennoji Zoo in Osaka, hence the bananas. But eventually he came clean that it was actually a girl he knew. Apparently, he was embarrassed about that. The legend of Sachan has been enduring, however, and people have long tied Sachan being unable to eat an entire banana and her going far away as being extremely weak and sickly, and thus she died. And if you believe the legends, there's actually a secret fourth verse to the song that confirms Sachan's dark fate. Sachan, it's true, she left behind her obebe, but she's small. I don't think she'll come back to get it. I'm sad, Sachan. An obebe is a type of kimono worn by women, and by leaving it behind, it's heavily insinuated that Sachan won't be coming back for it because she can't. She's dead. The final, I'm sad, Sachan, also uses the word kanashi, as opposed to sabishi in the third verse. Both of these words can be translated to sad in English, but sabishi is more akin to being lonely, while kanashi is more like being miserable and full of sorrow. The singer is full of sorrow and misery for Sachan's loss. But that's still not all. The Sachan urban legend was perhaps solidified because of a chainmail that spread in the early 2000s, claiming yet another secret fourth verse. That goes as follows. Sachan. She's actually called Sachiko, but she's small, so she calls herself Sachan. How funny, Sachan. So, this is the song everyone knows by the name of Sachan. It's known that the song has 3 verses, but in reality, there's also a fourth. The lyrics go, Sachan. She lost her legs at the railway crossing, but she's coming to get yours. Tonight, Sachan. Apparently, this is based on a real incident that took place in Muroran, Hokkaido. It happened on a freezing cold, snowy night. Kiritani Sachiko-chan, 14, was on her way home from school. The barrier at the railway crossing was coming down, so she started running to hurry across. However, the tracks were covered in snow, and her foot got stuck. She tried desperately to get her foot free, but she was unable to, and so she got hit by a train. Her body was cleanly cut at the torso, and normally this would mean instant death. However, it was so cold that her veins froze, and rather than dying right away, she continued living for several more minutes in terrible pain. She crawled away from the crossing, suffering until she finally passed out and took her last breath. The whole time, she crawled around looking for the lower half of her body. Then, several years passed. One of her classmates at the time, a boy, made up that song for fun. The girls got angry at him and told him to stop, but the boy ignored them and continued spreading the song. Then, 3 days later, 2 boys died and were discovered without their legs. Now that you've read this email, it really begins. Please send this to 5 people within the next 3 hours. A lot of prank mails have been going around recently, but this one is real. We won't force you, of course, but please do your best to pass this around. If this is your second or third time receiving this message, then you have already held a memorial for her. Passing this message around counts as a memorial. So you don't need to worry. We pray that your legs will be safe tomorrow. I don't have any legs, so can I have yours? This particular message started to spread around the mid to late 1990s, a time when chain mails were especially popular, and many of them took existing urban legends such as this, and then used them to further their own agenda. In this case, the well-known Satchan nursery rhyme and the legends of a fourth verse were taken, and combined with another urban legend we all know and love, that of Kashima Reiko, or even Teke Teke, the women who lost their legs in a train accident in Hokkaido. Needless to say, not spreading the email to other people didn't result in losing your legs, but if you're unsure, then hey, the message is still widely available on the internet. And that brings us to the end of this week's episode. You can help support us and get early access to both this show and Kawabana over on our Patreon at patreon.com/TaraADevlin. And if you still want even more urban legends, Toshiden Volume 4 is available right now, so don't miss out. Thanks guys, and I'll see you again next time for even more Toshiden, exploring Japanese urban legends.